In Gaza, an extraordinary twist. A Palestinian armed group has turned its weapons not on Israel, but on Hamas itself. Backed by Israeli air power, fighters in Khan Younis claim they thwarted a Hamas raid on a rival family, killing 11 militants. It is the first reported case of a Palestinian militia openly confronting Hamas inside the Strip, raising urgent questions. Why is Israel arming and backing these groups, and what does this mean for Gaza's already fractured battlefield? In an unexpected development in the Gaza Strip, an armed GAZAN group claimed to thwart a Hamas attack in Khan Younis with Israeli military assistance. Its leader told The Times of Israel on October 3rd. Hossam al-Astal, who leads the armed group known as Counter-Terrorism Strike Force or CSF in the east of Khan Younis, said that it thwarted a Hamas attack on a family with which Hamas is in dispute on the morning of October 3rd in Al-Mawasi, Khan Younis, with air support from the Israel Defense Forces. Al-Astal said that at 6 a.m, Hamas operatives arrived in Al-Mawasi and opened fire, launching RPGs toward an area where members of the Al-Mujahida family, whom the terror group was targeting, were present. The Al-Mujahida family has been warring with Hamas for several weeks, ever since operatives shot several family members in the leg for unclear reasons, Al-Astal said. He said the group has also claimed that the family is collaborating with Israel and stealing humanitarian aid. He said his forces came to the family's assistance, and with the help of Israeli air support, they were able to strike the entire Hamas unit. 11 Hamas operatives were killed, and 6 were seriously wounded, he said, and one member of the Mujahida family who fought against them was also killed. His own forces sustained no casualties, he said. This was the first reported case of a Hamas attack in Gaza being openly thwarted by a Palestinian armed group. However, there have been no comments from the IDF nor from Hamas. The group is not the only anti-Hamas militia operating in Gaza. Another group named Popular Forces is led by Yasser Abu Shabab, a Bedouin commander who has been active for months in Rafah, south of Khan Younis, on the Strip's border with Egypt. Abu Shabab's forces have drawn thousands of residents to an area under its control in eastern Rafah, where they run rudimentary schools, clinics, and public kitchens. Fighters and Israeli defense, as per reports, have confirmed that the group received military equipment from Israel. Meanwhile, in a separate incident, 2 Hamas operatives armed with an RPG and another firearm who approached troops of the Kfir Brigade in Gaza City were killed in a drone strike, the military said. IDF published purported footage of the incident on October 3rd. According to the IDF, during scans by troops in the area using a drone, 2 armed operatives were spotted approaching them. The troops then called in an Israeli Air Force Hermes 450 UAV to strike them. As per the residents in the Strip, 7 armed groups are already operating against Hamas. These militias are composed of dozens or even hundreds of fighters. Hamas accuses these groups of treason and of close cooperation with Israeli intelligence. The militias include the following groups. Popular Forces led by Yasser Abu Shabab in eastern Rafah. It consists of hundreds of fighters and is currently in a recruitment phase. Counter-Terrorism Strike Force, or CSF, led by Hossam al-Astal in eastern Khan Younis. Al-Astal is a former officer in the PA's Preventive Security Service. Khalas Clan, a group led by Rami Khalas, is a Fatah-affiliated militia operating in eastern Shuja'iyya. The Ahmad Jandia group in eastern Shuja'iyya. The Ashraf al-Mansi group in Beit Lahia. Another militia group in northern Gaza. A group near the Jordanian hospital in northern Gaza. Recently, mild tensions have arisen between the militias. The Popular Forces under Abu Shabab emphasized that several of the groups are not directly connected to them and complained that they were using their name. Among the groups mentioned were those of Hussam al-Astal and Ahmad Jandia. Meanwhile, VIN News reported on September 28th that in the past 24 hours, a new armed group led by a Palestinian named Ashraf al-Manasi started operating in Beit Lahia in the northern Gaza Strip, as per a Yisrael Hayom report. The new group has even received the blessing of Yasser Abu Shabab, the head of a militia from eastern Rafah who was the first to challenge Hamas and who received support from Israel. According to Abu Shabab, the popular forces expressed their gratitude and appreciation to brother Ashraf al-Mansi for his efforts against Hamas terror, his support for Gaza's residents, and his enforcement of security and safety. Earlier this month, Hamas's internal security apparatus accused al-Manasi of collaborating with Israeli intelligence and of establishing an armed group of 20 men. The militant organization also accused the group of being composed of former criminals involved in drug trafficking. Moreover, Hamas has threatened any GAZAN who cooperates with al-Mansi. However, many of these armed groups are backed by Israel in its bid to weaken Hamas. Israel has admitted to arming rivals of Hamas, including the popular forces, with supplies such as Kalashnikov rifles, sometimes stolen from captured Hamas militants. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed the policy of working with anti-Hamas clans and groups to reduce Israeli army casualties and undermine Hamas's power structure. This support reportedly includes both weapons and logistical help. Israel's intelligence service Shin Bet is believed to be involved in planning and managing support to these groups, intending to destabilize Hamas and reduce Israeli operations within Gaza by empowering local rivals. Aid organizations and the United Nations have accused these Israeli-backed militias of looting and violently controlling humanitarian aid entering Gaza, creating an environment of lawlessness in the blockaded area. There are documented incidents where these groups, in coordination with Israeli forces, have clashed with Hamas and reportedly opened fire on civilians seeking aid, resulting in deaths and injuries.